Arjun was an ordinary student with extraordinary dreams. He wanted to make something out of his life, to bring pride to his family, to prove to himself that he was capable of greatness. His vision was clear in his mind: a successful career, a stable future, and a life of meaning. But there was one enemy standing in his way. Not a person. Not an event. It was something invisible, silent, and ever-present: distraction. At first, it didn't seem dangerous. A few minutes on social media after studying. A quick game on his phone before bed. A late-night chat with friends, just for fun. Harmless, right? But those few minutes always grew longer. The short break became an hour. The one game turned into 5. The quick scroll became endless. Before Arjun realized it, entire evenings slipped away, and the books on his desk remained closed. He told himself he would do better tomorrow. But tomorrow came with the same temptations. Notifications buzzed, screens glowed, laughter called from his friends, and Arjun gave in again. His textbooks became decorations on his shelf, reminders of what he should be doing, but never actually did. Slowly, the damage showed. His assignments were late. His grades started dropping. He once dreamed of ranking at the top of his class, but now he was struggling just to pass. Every time his teachers returned test papers, his heart sank lower. At home, his parents looked at him with worry, sometimes with disappointment. And deep inside, Arjun began to hate himself. It wasn't that he was lazy. He truly wanted to succeed. But distractions wrapped around him like chains, chains he couldn't break, no matter how hard he tried. Nights were the worst. Arjun would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, guilt eating him alive. He thought about how much time he wasted, how his dreams were slipping away, and how powerless he felt to stop it. He knew he was capable of more, yet he was drowning in an ocean of wasted hours. The worst part? He wasn't alone. His friends were also caught in the same cycle, studying with one hand and scrolling on their phones with the other. Everyone joked about being addicted, but deep down, Arjun wondered, if we don't change now, what kind of future will we have? And then came the breaking point. One afternoon, after failing yet another important test, Arjun sat quietly in the classroom while others left. His paper was marked with red ink, almost bleeding failure. He stared at it for a long time, his chest heavy. In that silence, he asked himself a question that pierced through all the noise: am I going to live my entire life like this, distracted, unfocused, and defeated? For the first time, he didn't brush the thought aside. For the first time, he felt the full weight of his choices. This was the turning moment. The pain of failure burned so deeply that it became impossible to ignore. And sometimes, that pain is the gift we need. The gift that shakes us awake. The gift that whispers, enough is enough. But the journey of change doesn't start with success, it starts with struggle. Arjun had seen his lowest point. He had tasted the bitter truth. And though he didn't know it yet, this was the first step toward transformation. Because the student who falls to distraction can also rise to focus. And Arjun's story was only just beginning. The day Arjun failed his test was the day something inside him finally woke up. He carried that paper home in silence. No jokes, no excuses, no distractions, just silence. That night, he sat alone at his desk, staring at the same phone that had stolen countless hours from him. And for the first time, he didn't reach for it. Instead, he whispered to himself, "This ends today." It wasn't an easy promise. Habits built over months don't disappear in a night. But Arjun had felt the weight of failure, and he didn't want to feel it again. He decided to fight back, step by step. The next morning, he made a bold move. He uninstalled the games on his phone. He turned off the notifications that always dragged his attention away. His friends laughed when he told them, but Arjun didn't care. For once, his future mattered more than their jokes. Still, the fight wasn't simple. The cravings came. The urge to check his phone, the temptation to waste just a few minutes, was strong. But every time he resisted, he grew stronger. Every small victory gave him a spark of confidence. Arjun also began to structure his days. He set specific study hours, small goals, and clear breaks. Instead of blindly forcing himself, he broke tasks into smaller pieces. Read for 30 minutes. Solve 5 questions. Write 1 essay. And every time he finished, he crossed it off his list with pride. Slowly, the cycle of distraction began to fade, replaced by a cycle of discipline. One day, while struggling through a tough subject, Arjun went to his teacher for help. The teacher listened patiently and then said something simple but powerful: discipline will always beat talent. You don't need to be the smartest, you just need to be the most consistent. Those words struck Arjun like lightning. He realized that success wasn't about extraordinary genius, it was about ordinary effort, repeated every day. Consistency was the weapon that could break his chains. So Arjun held on. He showed up for himself, day after day, even when motivation faded. Some days were hard. Some days he slipped. But he always came back stronger. And with each return, his focus sharpened. Weeks turned into months. The boy who once failed tests now began to pass. The student who once feared opening his books now studied with determination. His grades rose, not overnight, but steadily, like the slow climb of the sun at dawn. But the real change wasn't just in his marks. It was in his confidence. Arjun no longer felt powerless. He had proven to himself that he could take control, that he could rise above distraction. And one evening, as he looked at his improved results, he smiled, not because he had topped the class, but because he knew he was finally walking his path. The moral lesson: distractions will always exist, in our phones, in our surroundings, in our minds. But they are not stronger than our determination. Every student, every dreamer, every person has to choose: will you let distractions steal your future, or will you take control of your time and your life? Arjun's story proves one truth: the moment you decide to fight for your focus, you begin to change your destiny. And that choice belongs to you.